Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about the forward rates and forward rate agreement. So I have already discussed about the derivatives and the types of derivatives in just brief, and from now on we are going to learn about the pricing models, what are forwards, future, how do we price it, so theoretical price. Okay, so first of all, what is forward interest rate? Forward interest rate are the future rate of interest implied by a current zero rates for a period of time in the future. So let me explain it through an example. Suppose this is a timeline. This is the current date, and this is suppose 3 months, and this is 6 months. So this in total is 3 months and this is 6 months. Now what you want to know the interest rate between this period. So this is a 3-month period. So you want to know the interest rate for 3 months after 3 months period. So I am repeating it again. Try to interpret this. You want to know just 1 minute. So yeah, you want to know 3-month interest rate after 3 months. After 3 months you want to know the 3 months interest rate. So this is the forward interest rate. Now how do we calculate forward interest rate? There must be some formula, there must be some kind of base on which we have to calculate the forward interest rate, and that thing is zero interest rate. Now what is zero interest rate? You must have heard about the zero coupon bond, right? So zero rates are just have just come up from that bond only. So the n-year zero coupon interest rate is the rate of interest earned on an investment that starts today and lasts for n years. All the interest and principal is realized at the end of n year. There are no intermediate payments. So you are just try to understand this thing, that it is somewhat similar to the zero coupon bond that we usually read. What is zero coupon bond? The zero coupon bond where there is no kind of intermediate payments or coupon payments, and all kind of principal and interest, all kind of cash flow that you will realize will be at the end of the period, and here it is n. So this is a timeline. After n period you have invested there, and after n period you will realize certain amount, say x. So what will be the interest rate? This is the zero coupon interest rate. I hope this is understood now. So now the calculation of forward rates. So this is the zero rate for an n-year investment. N can be 0, n can be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this is the zero rate. It will be given in your exam, or it will be given in your question to calculate the forward rate. So it is 3%, 4% for 2 years, 4.6% for 3 years, 5% for 4 years and 5.3% for 3 years. Now try to understand forward rate. It won't be there. So now for the first year it is 3%, and it is same 3% forward rate, 3% zero rate. And for the second year, so this is again I am drawing the timeline. This is today, this is after year 1, this is year 2. So here it is 3%, and as per the question, just think about this part only. So it is 4%. But the thing is, you want this interest rate. Now how will you calculate this interest rate? This is just the average concept only. So suppose this is x. So 3 plus x upon 2 is equals to what I am getting? 4% for 2 years, 4. Now x will be 4 2 ja 8 minus 3 is equals to 5. 5% is my forward rate for 1 year after 1 year. Now if you want to calculate, so let's just try it out that if this interpretation is correct for everything, for every year. Suppose, think about this. Now I'm going to prove how we will reach the 5.8% after 2 years for 1 year forward rate. Alright, so this is again the timeline. This is today. This is after year 1. Sorry, there is no space as of now. Okay, let's draw it again. So today, after year 1, this is year 2, and this is year 3. Now for year 1 it's 3%. For year 2, for remember one thing, year 1 to year 2 we have just calculated, it's 5%. So now I'm going to use 5%, not 4%. And for year 3, for 2 to 3 I have to calculate this. Suppose this is X%, and for all 3 years it is 4.6%. Now again I'm going to use the average concept. So 3 plus 5 plus x upon 3 is equals to 4.6. 8 plus x is equals to 13.8. X is equals to 5.8%. So here you go, that it is correct for everything, and it is just the average concept. So forward rate is just that thing, but now we are going to generalize this formula. Now what is the general formula for the forward rate? It is R2 into T2 minus R1 into T1 upon T2 minus T1. So this is the again drawing the timeline. Suppose for that year, for this 5%, let's just try this out. Today, so we have yes, year 1 and year 2. Now year 1 is going to be my T1 is going to be my 1. Remember one thing, in derivatives you have to use time period in years only. Okay, and for year 2 it is T2. T2 is 2. And R2, let's go to this. R2 is 4%. R2 is 4%. R1 is 3%. So now 3% into 2 minus R1, sorry, it's 4% into 2 minus 3% into 1 upon T2 minus T1, which is 1. So 4 to the 8% minus 3% is 5%. Upon 1, answer is 5% forward rate. So this is the general formula for the forward rates calculation. Now from forward rates we come across the new definition or the new term, which is forward rate agreement. Now what is forward rate agreement? Forward rate agreement is an over-the-counter transaction. I hope that you know about the over-the-counter transactions or over-the-counter derivatives. So over-the-counter transaction designed to fix the interest rate that will apply to either borrowing or lending a certain principal during a specified period of time. So let's just simplify this. Let's just try to comprehend this definition. Again I am drawing a timeline. So forward, future, swaps, it's all based on the timeline only. If we do not know the answer, just try to use the logic and try to comprehend it by drawing the timeline. Then you will get to know about what is going to be an answer. It's just derivatives is, many students just think that derivatives is very complex, we are not able to understand it. Trust me, it's not that complex, but yes, you need to use logic, and yes, you need to understand the formulas as well. That's it about the derivatives. All right, so now what is forward rate agreement? Forward rate agreement designed to fix the interest rate that will apply to either borrowing or lending a certain principal during a specified period of time. So what you are trying to do, it is an agreement for this period T1, T2. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to lock this interest rate through forward rate agreement. Okay, so the usual assumption underlying this contract is that you are borrowing or lending would normally be done at LIBOR. LIBOR is London Interbank Offered Rate. So let's try to understand the forward rate agreement with an example. Suppose there is a company which enters into a forward rate agreement that is designed to ensure that it will receive a fixed rate of 4%. Fixed rate of 4%, and on a principal is 100 million for a 3-month period starting in 3 years. So the period will start, it's years. So period will start in 3 years. The FRA is an exchange where LIBOR is paid and 4% is received for the 3-month period. Try to understand that this is an FRA for fixing that interest rate after 3 years for 3 months. After 3 years for 3 months. Now the FRA is an exchange where LIBOR is paid. What you are receiving? You are receiving fixed interest rate, that is 4%. What you are paying? You are paying LIBOR. And 4% is received for 3-month period. Now you don't know what will be the LIBOR. After 3 months, you get to know that the LIBOR is 4.5%. You are receiving 4% and you have to pay 4.5%. It means that what you will have to pay to the lender, the net amount you will have to pay is $100 million. $100 million into 4%. You are receiving 4%, but you are paying 4.5%. Okay, so you are receiving 4% and you are paying 4.5%. And this is for how many months? 3 months. So divide 3 by 12, 1 by 4, 0.25 years. Now this will be the cash flow. Again, here you will need to consider the timeline. So this is today, 3 years, and this in total is 3.25 years. What will be your cash flow at the end of 3.25 years? This is what we have calculated. The answer is $125,000. Now this is the cash flow at time t2, or we could say at 3.25 years. But what we want to know? We want to know the value of this FRA at this point, which means T1, and in this case it's 3 years. So you must have heard about this concept of compounding and discounting. Now here we are going to use this simple concept only. We are going to discount this value from here to here. Okay, and the risk and the rate at which we are going to discount is 4.5%. Because in LIBOR for the 3-month period it is 4.5%. For this period it is 4.5%. So we are going to use the rate of 4.5%. So let's just discount this part. So at 3-year timeline upon 1 plus, so discounting will be at 4.5%, 0.045 for how many months? 3 months, that is 0.25 here. Now after calculation you will get 1223. Sorry, I don't know what I am doing. Sorry. So this is what we will get the value. Okay, so this is at the end of 3 years, it's forward, the value will be this, and at the end of 3.25 years it will be this. This is after just discounting. Now the general formula you need to consider about the forward rate agreement for its valuation, just like in the forward rates, we calculate how to calculate the forward rate. The general formula was R2 into T2 minus R1 into T1 upon T2 minus T1. Now remember one thing, it is the forward rate, but that doesn't mean that what you are anticipating about the forward rate from that at that time of risk-free rate or at risk-free zero rates, and that forward rate you will realize. All right, so let me repeat this again. If you think that the forward rate is 5%, okay, you think that I will have to pay 5% only, so you have to pay floating rate. Now you think that you have to pay 5% only, but what there is some kind of problem in the market or any kind of external factors that leads to LIBOR to say 6%. So it means that you are not realizing, this is RM, so you are not realizing the forward rates. Okay, so there is a difference. This is called that you are realizing forward rates. So when we are calculating the value of forward rate agreement, there is a big assumption that we make, which is that you are assuming that RF is equals to RM. That is, all forward rates will be realized. Now let's talk about the notation. Consider an FRA where company X is agreeing to lend money to company Y for a time period between T1 and T2. Now RK is the fixed rate of interest agreed to in the FRA. RK is the fixed rate of interest. What is RF? The forward LIBOR interest rate that we calculated. So you could say the theoretical value that we anticipate. Now RM, what is RM? The actual LIBOR interest rate observed in the market at time T1 for the period between T1 and T2. So think about this in this way. This is today, T1, T2. The fixed rate of interest, there is nothing related to timeline. The forward rate between this T1 and T2, and the market rate that you will the actual LIBOR interest rate at time T1. So at time T1, the LIBOR you are considering, it will be applicable for this period. Okay, and the L is the underlying the principal underlying the contract. Now consider about this, the timeline. This is today, this is T1, this is T2. Now the situation is that the X is receiving, there is no space. Okay, so X is receiving. So let's try to understand that receiving means plus, that you are receiving, and what you are paying, you are denoting it with minus sign. Okay, so X is receiving RK. What is RK? RK is the fixed rate of interest agreed in the FRA. Now what is X paying? X is paying RM. Now what is RM? The actual LIBOR interest rate at time T1. Now Y must be in the counter position. So what is Y receiving? Y is receiving RM, and what is Y paying? Y is paying RK. So try to understand. This is the underlying principle. We are receiving RK plus RK minus RM at time for how many time period? T2 minus T1. Now this is calculated at T2. You need to discount this. You need to discount this and reach at the time T1. So let me remove this first. Okay. So yeah. For company Y, again, what the Y is receiving? RM. What the Y is paying? RK. For how many time periods? T2 minus T1. Now as mentioned, as I have told you before, that FRAs are usually settled at time T1. It means that you need to discount it. So this is the cash flow. This is the cash flow of both the company. You need to discount. What is the interest rate for this period? As I have told you earlier, LIBOR for this period, and LIBOR is denoted by RM, the actual LIBOR interest rate. So RM for how many time periods? T2 minus T1, T2 minus T1, RM, and you have discounted it. These are the cash flows after discounting. Okay. So now the valuation of FRA, which is very, very important. You should understand about this. Okay. So first try to understand that FRA is worth 0. The value is 0 when the fixed rate RK, when the fixed rate RK equals the forward rate RF. When it is first entered into RK is set equal to the current value of RF, so that the value of contract to each side is 0. As time passes, interest rate may change. Okay, as time passes, interest rate may change, so that the value is no longer 0. But you need to remember one thing: at the anticipation, at inception, the value of FRA is 0. Now L into RK minus RF. Try to understand this, that you are receiving fixed RK, you are paying floating RF. For how many time period? Again T2 minus T1. You have to discount it. Now why are you discounting it at? Now what is the role of E? Exponential. We are discounting it, we are using exponential because the R2, that is the risk-free interest rate for the time maturity of T2, will be given to you in a maybe in a continuous compounding. So you have to use exponential. In that case, when I was discounting at that time, it was for frequency compounding. Okay, so in this case I am assuming that risk-free rate with continuous compounding at time T2, which is the usual case. In derivatives you have to deal with continuous compounding. Okay, so e to the power minus R2. Now you have discounted. Again, for the value of FRA, if you are receiving floating and if you are paying fixed rate, so what will be the value of FRA? L into RF minus RK into T2 minus T1. So this will be the value. So just try to understand till this part. This is the value at time T2. But as mentioned earlier, that you need to calculate the value at time T1. So you need to discount it. How will be the discounting take place? It depends on the interest rate that you are playing with. In my case, I have considered it, I have assumed it, the continuous compounding. Now what are the two assumptions? I have mentioned earlier that the calculation of the payoff is based on the assumption that the forward rates are realized. It means that the theoretical forward rates that I have assumed, that I have anticipated, is RM is equals to RF, is same in future, and also that I have discounted this payoff at risk-free rate. So this is the valuation of FRA. So that's it about today's video. I think that you have understood about the FRA, what is forward rates, and the calculation is somewhat similar to the futures as well. So in next video we will discuss some more related concepts, some more interesting concepts about the FRA, and till then, happy learning, take care, have a nice day.